And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Pug Thompson. 100% agree. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, welcome to everyone. Yes, it's another edition of the Weighing In Podcast. We've got stuff to talk about. We got boxing, MMA. My man Josh Thompson is feeling like shit, which is absolutely hysterical because he might be running off of the screen at any moment.
Bro,
I feel bad for you, bud. I'm sorry.
it's coming out of both ends right now. It's not even. This is not.
Just don't do it
horrible.
now. Hey, is this what? Hey, just think of the views we'll get if you do that right now.
I feel like it's something you put on OnlyFans. It's like, oh man, it's just, I don't know, man. I had some pulled pork tacos, and I start to wonder because I have my buddy Nawad. He doesn't eat pork, and I have a brother too that doesn't eat pork, and I'm like, every time something like this happens after eating pork, I'm like, man, it's just not worth it. But those tacos were good.
No, I'm
I
sorry.
was about an hour. It was
nothing
about an
to do
hour
with
after.
the pork. It has to do with the people making it.
Oh man, I don't know what it is, but I was up all night hugging the porcelain god, trying to get it out, dry heaving.
The great
Everything I put in me all day. It's been horrible, John. And I'm like low energy, like how Trump called low energy Jeb. I'm like low energy Josh today. It's just, I just can't get going, man. I was laying in bed going, fuck, I got to film later. Shit. I text you guys at like 3 a.m, I think. And I was like, there's just no way I'm making it to fucking filming. There's just no way. Because we were going to film at 5 a.m. And like now it's in the afternoon. I'm like, I was dying. I was just dying laying there going like, I can't, I'm afraid to like close my eyes. I might shit my bed. It's just, John, I'm telling you the things that were coming out of my mouth. I was so frustrated because you know me, I like, even though like I like to have a couple whiskeys or I like to go out and I still get up and do my job. So when I can't get up and do this, I'm like, fuck, what's wrong with you? Such a sissy. I was so mad at myself, but I was bad. It was better. Got some, just get a little bit of rest.
Podcast Dave was talking about how he never fucking falls down like that.
No, 2 weeks ago it was him.
He marches on. He marches on.
Jeez.
That's what he says.
He marches
man.
on.
Says,
yep. This guy.
See, Dave, is that not what you do? You march on, baby.
Yep. You know, it's in the blood. It's in the blood.
Even when he's feeling good, he doesn't even like do his job very well. Dave, follow along. Dave, click on that guy's name. Huh? Who? Which guy? Dave, were you listening to what we're doing? It's all right.
How about you say a name once in a while?
Oh man, I just can't with you today. I just can't. Even his texts, I was like, I'm just not in the mood for you. I can't even reply. I just ignored him because he just gave me such a hard time. I looked at my phone. I was like, please stop texting me. I don't want to hear the beep or buzz again. It's like, leave me alone. Oh,
if I'd known not to send more.
No, I know. That's why I just said I'm not in the mood for you and left it on silent. All right, well, hey, let's get into this show, and we've got a lot to cover when it comes to Fight Talk and the recap, as well as what's coming up the following weekend. Talk about some boxing and pay some homage to one of the best running backs that ever played the game. Big John's got a couple stories about Jim Brown.
Oh man, I just want to say, Jim Brown, rest in peace. The man was unbelievable when you think about it. The things that he did in his life. Do you realize that he retired when he was 30 years old
crazy.
From the NFL after 9 seasons? 30 years old. I'm done.
That's Barry Sanders.
And he's still considered one of the best running backs ever and stuff.
Barry Sanders, 30 years old.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But I got to know Jim based kind of on the UFC, but kind of not. Because when I went to work for LAPD, I went to what was called Southwest Division first and then 77th for a short stint. And then they put you on what's called the wheel, and they sent me to Hollywood Division. And when I got to the Hollywood Division, a lot of the guys, I had no idea who they were, but they say, oh, you're a big guy. He says, yeah, you'll be going to gyms. Right? I'm like, what are they fucking talking about? Right? And that's all they kept saying, you'll be going to gyms. They're going to send you to gyms. And so Jim Brown was known to have these parties. And so, yep, it wouldn't be sent from downtown like a normal call. It would come from the lieutenant's office of the station that you're at, Hollywood Division. And he would, call you in, say, hey, I need you to go. There's this complaint here. Boom. And so I ended up, the first time I went up there, I drive up to his house, right? And I have a partner and stuff. And I said, need to speak with the owner of the house, right? And it's a party complaint, right? He comes out. Josh, he is dressed in a white suit, no shirt, gold medallion on his, big old chain and gold medallion hanging down, right? And I, this is Jim Brown. And I'm kind of like, damn, it's Jim Brown, right? So, I try to be as respectful as I can to him, and stuff. And he looks at me, he says, well, you're a big cornfed boy, aren't you? Right? I go, I don't eat much corn, but Mr. Brown, I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. You have some neighbors that are complaining. All I'm saying is just try to lower it down a little bit if you can. That way, I can say that I've been up here. I've talked to you. And he says, yeah, no problem. So he says, you take a look, right? He kind of shows me around, his place and stuff, right? And he's got all these women and stuff. He's a pure pimp, man. He was pimping like a big dog, right? This gets way better because, a couple years later, 5 years later, the UFC 1 is going to take place. We're in Denver, Colorado, and I am down in the lobby where my wife has got this table and stuff, and Jim Brown walks into the hotel because he's going to be one of the color commentators for the UFC, and he's going to get and he looks at me, and he's kind of got that look like, I know you. Yeah. Hey, and I kind of look over at him and give him a little nod, right? And he goes like, gives me a little finger point, like, that was it, right? No big deal. And so I start reffing and he's doing the show and we start talking more and more. And I never say anything about, I'd been up to his house a couple of times, for calls and stuff like that. And it was after UFC 6. There's the after parties like we were talking about. And he's got a girlfriend and he says, John, come on over here. He says, sit down with me. Come on, sit down with me, right? I said, yeah, all right, Jim, right? So I sit down, right? And he says, he says, yeah, man, that was some great fights. That damn Tank Abbott. He starts talking about Tank Abbott and stuff, right? And then he comes up with, he goes, I would swear on my life that I've known you before this, right? And I go, well, you kind of did. Yeah. He goes, all right, where? And I go, well, Jim, you live at, and I go, blah, 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 and I put out his address, right? Sunset Plaza Drive was the street he's on, right? And he goes, how do you know that? I said, remember that big corn-fed white boy would come up in the police uniform and tell you to kind of hold it? He goes, motherfucker. Right? And I go, yep, that was me. He goes, well, I gotta tell you, you know what? You handled it the right way. He goes, I was always impressed because you were very respectful. I said, well, I appreciate that. And then we went on from there, but he had no idea that I was that police officer.
Yep. How do you mistake you though? At that time in the early UFCs, you were big. You were really big.
Yeah.
Fucking your arms.
Dude, he sees big people all the time. The problem was he had beat the shit out of a couple of LA coppers because things they wanted him to do something. He said, I ain't fucking doing it. He thumped him. So then, but he was always a great guy. Always, even when I was the police officer, he was super, straight, talk to you good. But when I got to know him with the UFC, just a pleasure to be around. He really just cared about other people and wanted people to have a good life, do things right, be smart about the way they did things. He helped a lot of kids, man. He helped a lot of people. So activist in a lot of ways, stood up for himself, was always a man's man. I really, I appreciate the fact that he lived a great life, a long life, and he deserves the respect that people give him because he was special.
Yeah, I hope I can live to 87. I mean,
dude, there's no freaking way I'm going to make 87.
Man, I remember the first time I ever saw him when I was a kid, and I think he was done playing by the time I was watching football. I understood it. But it was I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, the movie. He was in that movie, and it was kind of like a little bit like an Austin Powers kind of movie, but it was kind of funny, with some funny stuff. But yeah, it was the first time I'd ever seen him, and then I started following him a little bit and started watching back some of his old football stuff. But yeah,
same here.
I've never met him.
I watched. The first time I saw him, he was an actor, right? And he was. I always kind of looked at guys that were bigger, and that always impressed me. It's like he's muscular and stuff. And so I saw him. And the first one was an army movie. Then he was a cowboy, and in a western and stuff. And he was always just like cool. So
John just admitted that he's checking out other dudes.
Yep, I was when I was a kid. Absolutely, no.
Always looking at like the bigger dudes, just kind of the muscular guys. The ones
because there was a couple. I'm trying to think of the names. God damn, there was Clint something was one of them. It wasn't Clint Eastwood, but he
was. You remember Clint Eastwood's name?
He was a muscular guy. Played cowboys a lot. Then there was William Smith. William Smith was a bigger guy. William Smith actually played in movies with Clint Eastwood and stuff. He was like remember the Clint Eastwood movies, Any Which Way but Loose? He had the orangutan with him.
Yeah. Right Turn Clyde.
Yeah, Right Turn Clyde. There's William Smith.
Yeah.
William Smith was one of the guys that he fought in those. Yeah, there he is with the thing, right? Yep. He was a big time kind of like muscular guy. So when I was a kid, he was cool.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I want to go back and be able to watch a lot of the old football days. To be able to watch Gale Sayers, to be able to watch Jim Brown, to be able to watch even Eric Dickerson. I remember watching him when I was a kid. But Sayers and Brown, those guys were done. Almost done or done when I finally started getting into football. So, but yeah, it's sad when you lose somebody who kind of had an impact not just on on the sport, but kind of across the nation, because like you said, he was a little bit of an activist and but in a positive way. So he did a lot of good things for his community. So
American, that was the organization that he ran. It was American, so American, but so that one of the things. Do you realize that dude was in the Hall of Fame for lacrosse? Your son plays lacrosse now. That's why I'm telling you.
No, I didn't know that.
He played at Syracuse. He was one of the best lacrosse players ever. That dude was just a stud athlete.
It doesn't surprise me.
They put him in the Lacrosse Hall of Fame.
Can you imagine though being in the Hall of Fame for football, whatever it is, and retiring at 30? That's crazy. If he would have played another 5 years, historic, like what he would have achieved, historically.
He had 18. I can't remember exactly. Dave could look it up. It was 12,000 something was his total yardage. He averaged like 5.1 yards a carry.
Wow.
Or something like that throughout his career.
Mm-hmm.
And he somewhere in with over 12,000 rushing yards. You figure he had at least 5 good years left.
Yeah.
When he left. And the other part was, he was 245 pounds when linemen weren't that big at times.
Wow.
So the guy, he was just a monster that could run fast, run over people and stuff. He would have, people talk about the records and everything. Yeah, people passed him, but not many people that could compare for the length of time that he actually played. You go back then, the seasons were how many
13.
games were the season?
It was like 12 or 13, I think.
14, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 13 because the Miami Dolphins, they won the Super Bowl, and that was the 13-0 season. And that's still the only undefeated season. So it's 13-0.
Really? I thought it was...
That was the 82 Dolphins.
I thought they were 17-0.
No, 13.
14-0. I think it was 14-0.
Look it up,
in the regular season. 2 playoffs in the AFC Super Bowl. 17-0. I'm going with it.
I think it's 13. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Pay attention, buddy. Undefeated season, Miami Dolphins.
17-0. You're saying 13?
Yeah. It is
17-0.
You are right. So then maybe the season was just 13, and then the playoffs.
14.
Got
14.
it.
14.
It was? Okay.
14.
I thought it was 13-0. Anyways. That was the, what year was that? Was that the, 72?
72.
I thought it was, I don't know what I was thinking. I thought it was 82. Gosh, man. I wasn't even born yet. Oh,
yeah, well, I remember that season.
Old man. Oh,
Yep.
man. Yeah, the only other running back that I really think was short duration would be Barry Sanders. You know, he retired, I think, when he was 30 as well, out of Detroit. And I had so far.
There was a couple guys that you could look at, and you can say Herschel Walker was very similar to Jim Brown. You know, the strength, the speed. Earl Campbell was another one. It was like a Jim Brown. Just, you know, ran through people.
Yeah.
Christian Okoye for the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah. That's what got
I'll
me
never forget.
a Chiefs fan.
Dude, I was a young police officer. I was just married, living in Covina, California. And I'm on my motorcycle and I'm driving up. I can't remember what damn street it was, but I see this dude running. Right. And I look at this, and I had heard about this guy who was playing at Azusa Pacific, was the school he was playing for, which was right up the street. And I see this guy running, and he's got these small blue dolphin running shorts, because that's what guys wore back then, right?
Oh, yeah. There's photos of you wearing some.
Yeah, baby. And no shirt.
I'm going to get that photo one of these days.
And I see this guy running toward, and I stop that bike to look and say, holy Christ, that dude is put together. You know, he was 265 pounds without an ounce of fat on him.
John checking out guys.
He was amazing. Yeah, checking out guys again. There you go, baby.
He's the reason why I started becoming a Chiefs fan. The way he would remember he had the big shoulder pads, the neck roll.
The neck roll. Yep.
And he would just run people over. He'd hit the hole and just explode through it. And I just loved watching him just try to run people over. It was awesome.
Who was there was the dude who played for the Denver Broncos, number 27. He was a safety.
Atwater.
What the Atwater. Steve Atwater had a collision with him that was freaking epic.
Yeah. I remember that. It's just, man, that guy could hit. It was him and Ronnie Lott. Those two guys were just they were the hitters.
Yeah,
man.
No doubt about it. That dude was a stud.
Yeah, Herschel was telling me stories about Barry Sanders, and he's like, man, I'd never seen a running back do what Barry Sanders has done. He thinks Barry Sanders is the greatest running back ever. He would run into a hole as a linebacker would be running forward, and he would back out and change angles before that linebacker could run after him forward. He was just so good. I mean, he retired at 30. He could have definitely
Barry Sanders had more negative yardage runs than any other running back.
Yeah.
Because he would try to make things happen and stuff. But
no, it's because he was on a shitty ass team. That's why.
Oh yeah, dude. No kidding.
Oh, the history of the Detroit Lions. Can you imagine? That team had Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson, probably the second best receiver ever in history is Calvin Johnson. And he retired young, and Barry Sanders retired young. They just got tired of losing. And they got frustrated with the sport. I bet you they would have played a lot longer had they went to a different team that had their shit.
But the Lions are getting better now.
They are. Their draft wasn't great. We'll be interested to see how their draft translates. They took a running back in the first round. I mean, I think he's a great running back. I'm not denying that, but
it used to be that running backs in the first round were a common thing, big thing. Boy, times have changed.
Oh yeah. No, you get a good running back, though, in the 5th, 6th round. You know, it really just comes down to your play schemes and how you call it. And, you know, and they know their running backs are kind of beaten up so much by the time they're 30, 32 that they're just not worth it. You only have them for a couple of years. Oh, man. All right. Well, hey, rest in peace, Jim Brown, and best of luck. I have a Jim Brown jersey with a photo of him signing the jersey. So that just went up in price also. That's going to be. Let's talk about UFC.
Way to look at it.
Is this the UFC, Apex? Yep, UFC Apex. I don't know what it's called, Vegas. Let's go ahead and talk some fights. But before we do that, go to onlyfans.com/weighing and subscribe to us over there. It is free, and put in your fan questions, available only on onlyfans.com/weighing. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Mackenzie Dern versus Angela Hill was the main event for UFC Fight Night or UFC Vegas, Apex, whatever you want to call it. John, what you got?
I'll tell you what. I looked at that fight. I was like, it was a hell of a fight. I'll tell you what, Angela Hill, who I love anyways, and she knows it, and I've talked to her about it. She's just, I think, you talk about a true fighter, and we were talking about certain people. That person is really not a fighter. Angela Hill, God damn it, I don't care if you win or lose. You are a fighter. You are a stud. You have heart for days, because nothing was going her way in that fight. The second round, she did good. She had a good round in the second round. But other than that, man, she fought her ass off getting out of bad spots. I mean, she took huge. That knee she took, I'm shocked she was able to weather that. That was huge. And I give it up for Mackenzie Dern. She was aggressive. She came out after. She landed the cleaner shots in the stand-up. When it hit the ground, she was working hard. But God damn it. Yes, Angela Hill lost. But what a freaking performance in heart and just, I will not quit. I will not give in, because she could have given in at any time.
Yeah, like in three of the rounds, she was almost submitted at the very end at the bell. And it's like 2 or 3 of the rounds. And so she could have just been like, it's not going my way. Just give the arm, tap, get out of here. She didn't.
Yep. Nope. And
we've seen a lot of fighters.
I don't want to say that takes balls, but man, whatever it takes, she had it. Because
this day and age, say whatever you want.
I know. But man, just unbelievable amount of courage, because that's courage, because things are not going your way, and you have the way to get out, and it's there, and you don't take it.
Yeah, I spent the last week when we were doing the lead up to this fight, I was like, Angela Hill on the feet is going to be the better fighter. Within that first 2.5 minutes, she's the more technical striker, but the way that Mackenzie Dern throws, with everything behind it, super aggressive, it flusters technicians. Like, Angela Hill mixes everything up, punches, kicks, knees. But when you have someone like Mackenzie Dern who just comes in, is really overcommitting to her boxing and just letting it all hang out and hoping that you'll push to the clinch so she can drag you to the ground. That's a great way of fighting for someone who is that good on the ground, for Mackenzie Dern. And as soon as she started getting hit, Angela Hill, she went right to clinching, right to pressing into the fence. I think she thought she'd be the better fighter in that position. She was at moments, but the majority of the time, Mackenzie was like, I don't care if I get taken down. I'm okay being down there. I know you're not going to try to take me down. So I just got to make space, throw elbows on the break, and try to let something go off the break. And she did a great job. I mean, this was a fantastic fight. It actually lived up to more than what I thought it was going to be. I mean, because Angela Hill just showed that she was a dog. I know it was kind of one-sided, but Angela Hill showed that she was a dog. Like, she's somebody that just doesn't matter. You could have my arm almost straight. She was defending sometimes just one arm. I was surprised that Mackenzie couldn't finish, which was really shocking. So, but can't take anything away from her. What I heard though before the fight was Angela Hill she gets so frustrated because it doesn't matter how good she performs. She gets no love in the rankings. She gets no love from the press. She gets no love from the media, but she's a dog, man. She's someone that comes out, lays it all out there every single time. She's lost some very questionable decisions, in close fights that would have catapulted her up to the top rankings. And, but she came up short again. She's almost at a 500 record, John. But she's fought everyone, and she takes it all. Yeah. She'll take fights on short notice. She'll take the best fights, and knowing this probably stylistically doesn't match up well for her, she fights everyone.
How many 10-8 rounds?
At least 2.
I had 2, and it could have been 3.
Yeah, it could have been 3, but I said at least 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you take a look at that, the first round was close, and I almost pulled the trigger on it. And I go, she had her moments in the stand-up. She was doing okay. You know what? It's a 10-8-5. I can't go all the way to 10-8, so it's 10-9. Yeah. One of the judges did. The other 2 had 2 10-8 rounds. One had 3 10-8 rounds. And they're all right as far as I'm glad that they pulled the trigger because they don't do that in Nevada, very often. It's kind of changed a little bit there and stuff. And it was, you can't have those kind of rounds where you have someone being put and hit with big elbows, no offense, and almost submitted, put into bad positions throughout the entire round and not give a 10-8. So, I mean, the scores were kind of, I think they all gave Angela Hill the second round. And other than that, Mackenzie Dern just dominated that fight. And she looked fantastic. You got to give it to her.
No, she did. She did. Her problem is until she gets better at actually working at getting takedowns to utilize her grappling, I mean, her ceiling is not as high as it could be. She's got to work more on her judo. She's got to work more on her wrestling to get these things to the ground because she's going to come up against fighters that have good takedown defense and that are better than her on the feet. Because she's not a great boxer or kickboxer. She does mix it up well. She's an aggressive one. Fighter. She'll walk in. She'll take a shot to deliver a shot.
She'll take a shot.
She swings a little wild. She swings a little loopy. She's got some power. She's got some speed for sure. But she's going to run into someone who's just a little bit better than her all the way around in terms of on the feet. And she has no wrestling.
Well, she already has.
Yeah. She has.
Jan. When she fought Jan, that was one of those ones you looked at, she could not get Jan to the ground. And on the feet, Jan throwing straight shots, lit her up a lot. So, but you got to look and say, I see improvements in her.
Oh, yeah.
From what she's been doing, I'm seeing improvements, and she's making those steps towards, fixing those problems. And so just a great performance by Mackenzie Dern. But Angela Hill, you are a monster. The heart and just the desire to not give in. You are something special.
Yeah. Next fight.
We had a very good fight between Anthony Hernandez and Edmund Shabazian for about 3 minutes. And at that point, Anthony Hernandez just took over. And he started just lighting Edmund Shabazian up because Edmund was actually doing better in the stand-up. He had the cleaner shots. And as soon as Anthony started to really push the pace with the grappling and get into Shabazian and make him work, you just saw how the momentum changed, and you saw how the flow of the fight just got away from Edmund Shabazian, and Anthony just kept that foot on the pedal and just kept going after him. Even when he was taken out of positions based upon, the end of the round, right back to it in the next start of the round and stuff. And we talked about him and, that he doesn't get enough credit. That sumbitch can fight. He's good. And he's going to be a problem for a lot of people.
I agree with you 100%. I think what he's also done very well is he's weaponized his cardio, which is really what it was. Absolutely. He fought that first 3 minutes at such a pace. And Shabazian thought he could keep up. And as the 4 minute mark happened, he just realized, oh, man, deep breath. This ain't going to work out for me. And he just started shutting down as the fight went on. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Yeah, I got to be careful how much I burp and cough because...
I'm telling you, it's going to be the most watched podcast.
If it comes, out.
Whoa.
Oh, I know. But Fluffy, what I like is he had some good... off the breaks, he had some really good elbows.
Oh, yeah.
And Shabazian just had no answer for it. He thought, okay, we're just going to break.
We always talk about exiting.
Yes. Damage off the exit is really important.
Yep.
It not only just leaves the last impression to the judges that you're the one that won the exchange.
Yep.
But it also lets the fighter know that
impression on your opponent.
That he can't rest. There's no time to rest. I'm not letting you rest. When we break, I'm breaking, and I continue to push on you. And Anthony Hernandez just had a good game plan. He just kept coming forward. And once the fight hit the ground, he was just all over him. Top position, big elbows, did some work. He really impressed me. I got to be honest, really impressed me.
Boy, he looked great. I mean, Shabazian is someone that I've been watching for a long time when he was a kid. And, you know, big thoughts about, you know, hey, this kid is going to be special. You know, and when he came into the UFC, they kind of fast tracked him. And I really thought that, you know, the change of gyms was a very good thing for him. He was now working out at Extreme Couture and stuff. And people are going to sit there and take and look at this and say, oh, he's not that good. He's a good fighter.
He's still young.
He's a good fighter. Exactly. And he's got a long, you know, career ahead of him. He's just got to settle down in the fights and be able to control that pace at times. It's tough against somebody like Hernandez, but Edmund Shabazian is still going to have a really great career.
Yeah, I think so too. He's just, I've said this for the longest time. You need to make sure that your priority is, sure, learning the techniques. Become a technician. So you're not wasting energy, you know, when you're on the ground flailing about trying to get out from bottom. Use the techniques properly. And the best way to learn them properly is to always make sure you're in shape. Your brain absorbs the knowledge a lot better when you're not tired. So if you're in practice trying to learn how to do sweeps or certain types of setups and you're too exhausted to really get your body moving, your brain's not actually processing how to do these techniques when you're exhausted. That's why you need to make sure that when you're learning that you're always in pretty decent shape so you can achieve these moves while you're exhausted and tired. So when you get in the fight, you understand what it's going to take to do that move. He just doesn't seem like he's okay. The fight IQ is not there. He's still okay with Brandon to Anthony Hernandez. Oh, you know what? You want to fight at a fast pace? I'm going to fight that too. No. You need to fight your fight. Don't fight your opponent's fight. You need to go out there and fight at the pace that you need to fight at. And so you could tell right as soon as he started getting tired, I was like, oh, he's done. He's done. And then Anthony Hernandez just saw the break a little bit in him and he amped it up. He amped it up even more.
Absolutely.
So good stuff on Anthony Hernandez. Shabazian definitely will continue to fight, but he's got to make some tweaks and some changes and learn how to control the tempo of the fight. You can't let your opponent do that.
Yeah.
Josh, did you see Anthony's post-fight presser?
No, what'd he say?
Someone asked him, "Hey, how do you what's the deal with your cardio? Why is it so good?" And he replied, "I jerk off with a snorkel."
What an animal! I'm
funny.
gonna give that a try. Only available on OnlyFans.
So good.
Next,
we had Lupita Godinez against Emily Ducote, and I think we both kind of looked at this as Godinez coming in. She was a 2-week replacement or something like that, so she didn't have a camp in this, but she really was the aggressor in the fight for a lot of it. Ducote actually lost first round. She started coming back. She did much better. She got better in the fight. She's waiting, waiting all the time. And that was a big problem for her. You know, she was trying to be the counter fighter. Well, she was getting hit. She would try to counter, and then at times Godinez would counter her counter and land the clean shot and exit out of it. There was, some shots that, Ducote did a good job, landed stuff. She needed to get that fight to the ground, and she didn't have the ability to get Lupita there in any fashion.
Yeah. I was texting you during the fight, and I'm like, It wasn't until this fight, and I'm not trying to. It wasn't until this fight did I realize that Emily Ducote, she is really good all the way around. I just don't see her. She's not a fighter, and I know that's harsh words. Like, she's in there, she can take shots, she can exchange shots. But John, when there's 2 minutes left in the third round, and you need to win this round, and she's still just trying to do 1-2. She's not taking chances. She's not stepping outside that box to really try to get that win. And it wasn't, because I'd seen her fight in Bellator when she was over there. And then, I've seen her fight for years, and she's good on the feet. She's got good takedown defense. She's not bad from the top position. She's a very well-rounded fighter. But in this fight, you could tell, like, the fight was close. Every round was close, and she was okay with, I don't need to do any more to decisively win this round. And there was no effort.
Yes,
she needed to do more, but she didn't do it. And that was my point. Like she was okay with letting the round slip away by just little margins. And so I was like, man, like I was like, man, that makes me think, are you really a fighter? Like she can take a shot, she'll deliver a shot, but as she starts getting hit more, she kind of shells up a little bit and then goes back to just her basics of 1-2, right hand, left hand. You know, she's just trying to pot shot, not really putting herself out there to try to get the win and get the finish. So I don't want to rag on her. Lupita did a great job, you know, coming in on short notice. I said this in the pre-fight stuff for last week. I go, she really is someone that puts a lot of pressure, and I've seen the Cody kind of shelter back a little bit when someone pressures her.
The pressure.
Yep, and so that's what Lupita had to do, was just kind of come out, throw heavy shots. After she landed a couple big shots, you saw Emily Ducote just kind of back away and just try to control the pace and the tempo of the fight. She didn't want to put herself out there, take chances to try and get the finish. And that cost her that. Eventually, I think that's going to start costing her almost all these fights.
The fight that I wanted to bet on, but we didn't.
This is why I don't bet on my friends, man. This is why.
Dude, he was fighting a good fight. He was actually fighting, in my opinion, Andre Fialho was fighting one of the better fights I've seen him. He was not in any way overextending, which a lot of times he does. He was fighting controlled. Buckley was actually starting to overextend in a lot of them, in a lot of the engagements and stuff. But Buckley landed that head kick. It was at the right time. Mm-hmm. It was clean, and there didn't even need to be any follow up on it.
No, there didn't need to be. Look, it was a very fun fight up until the knockout. I saw a little bit of a headbutt though right before the head kick, and whether
he
you
stopped
think,
it for it.
What's that? Yeah, he
referee stopped it.
Yeah, and that's what happened.
Kerry Hadley stopped it.
And if you get headbutted, give yourself a second. He rushed back in, and I'm not saying that's like it made it easier. I mean, he took the shot right to the dome, you know, and it just. But if you have a second, give your head a second to rest. Clear your thoughts.
Do you think that in his head, Buckley was utilizing a lot of movement stuff, and he wanted to have that pressure on him to where he couldn't rest?
I understand what you're saying,
but the more time he took, the more rest Buckley would get.
I understand what you're saying, but remember that he did the same thing earlier with the eye poke. He rushed back in. He's like, no, I'm good. And it was like, look, give yourself a second. I'm not saying you need to take the full 5 minutes, but give yourself a second to really kind of regroup, refocus. It's already distracted you. I mean, he's pulled up short, on both of those now, where like he got headbutted a little bit and kind of got poked in the eye. It starts to become a little frustrating. And so give yourself a second. I know that Joaquin Buckley's got power. He's explosive. He does tend to slow down. Yep. But with Fialho, he's got to start opening up more tools also. He's got great kicks. Very rarely uses them. He's got good wrestling. Very rarely uses it. He's got a blast double that's phenomenal. Never uses it. Like, at least get Buckley thinking about the takedown, and then that'll slow his hands up a tiny bit to land your big shots. Because what Fialho does have is he's got big power, and he just. But if I know you're only gonna box, the fear
makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. I only have to game plan for one thing. He's got to start utilizing all of his tools because these guys are catching on to him, And Buckley I thought he looked great at welterweight, and good to see him back down there. He was that tweener,
and the best part is he utilized wrestling. Now, Fialho in the first one popped right back up, but at least puts it in his head. Oh,
yeah,
he's going to try to take me down. I got to think about it.
Yep. I don't know, but I don't know what Fialho is going to do from there. I know they're going to keep having him because he is entertaining, whether he gets a knockout or he gets knocked out. But I mean, he's been knocked out a couple times now. I get a little worried about him, and not like great ones either. They've been some nasty ones. So, and this one was not a good one.
No.
Sorry, John. I'm trying to hold it together for you right now.
and neither was the next one because Diego Ferreira against Michael Johnson. I'll tell you what. Ferreira looked just phenomenal. He looked great in there.
I thought he
looked
did too.
Composed. He looked relaxed.
I thought he did too. But I thought Michael was winning the fight up until that moment. It was close, but Diego just didn't have as much output as he needed. Michael was landing the good shots. There was some good back and forth, but I had Michael winning the fight up until that moment. But geez, man, lights out. Like, it gave me the flashbacks of when he fought Josh Emmett. You know? And the crazy part is that he's been looking good as he's gotten older, which is crazy. Yeah. You know, like he's made some adjustments, made some changes. Just got clipped, man. Got caught. And I had him winning the fight up until that moment. It was close, but like I said, I had him winning that fight up until the moment. I don't know, where does he go from here now? He's 38, 37, 38, I think. How old is Michael Johnson there?
He's got to be.
36. He still got some time. 36, 37. Take some time off, though. Rest the brain, buddy.
Boy, don't
rush back. And don't let this thing fool you. See this 21-19? Don't let it fool you. He's fought everyone. I mean, outside of like Dustin Poirier and, you know, and Max Holloway, I mean, I don't know other guys that have fought everybody. This guy's fought everyone, you know, and never turns down fights. You know, I was scheduled to fight him, and he pulled out with like 2 weeks left to the fight. Said he had an injury. I have my other thoughts, but but yeah. I mean, he's a fantastic fighter, man. Fantastic fighter. Good win for Diego.
But big win for Diego Ferreira.
Yep.
I'll tell you the one that this was the fight that Borochev against Mahashate was. You know, I knew it was going to be a stand-up battle. I was surprised at how effective Borochev was throughout with his stand-up, because he landed the heavier blows throughout the fight. He got the eye poke that bothered him, and you know he got poked good, so that changed a little bit. But overall, you know, he came in as a kickboxer. He's been working with, you know, alpha male team in Sacramento and stuff. But goddamn, I'll tell you what, that right hand he hit him with, Josh, that was as flush as you will see. It was freaking devastating. I
think a lot of that was set up with some of the body work he was doing earlier. He hit the body a couple of times. It kind of started, Mahashat's started dropping his elbows just a tiny bit, which exposed him a little bit more of the face. And just throwing the feints, you know, pretending you're going to go to the body, coming back up to the top. Once you land a good body shot, one or two of them, now that fighter starts thinking, okay, keep elbows down, hands start to get a little bit lower. They're more concerned about getting hit to the body than they start losing focus on up top. And I think that's a lot of what helped set this up. So, but I mean, fantastic shot, and the way to finish it. And it was shaping up to be a pretty good fight, you know, and then boom, boom, all done.
Boy, big.
Next fight.
That was one where you look and you go, yeah, there didn't need to be any follow-up.
No.
For that. There was, but there didn't need to be.
I felt the same way about the Fiala one. The Fiala one, there was no need for the follow-up.
Oh, yeah. I know. I agree. Karolina Kovacevic going up against Vanessa Demopoulos. I'll tell you what, this is where we say it all the time. Stop throwing just 1-2s. You've got to throw 3s and 4s. And this is the fight, if you're going to show somebody. Karolina kept on throwing at least 3. And she kept blasting her with the right hand over and over and over, especially the third shot she would throw. And Demopoulos was just unable to figure it out throughout. You know, she would try to counter, and here comes that last shot, landed clean. And Karolina looks really good for someone that went through a real hard, you know, section of her career. I think 4 or 5 losses in a row. Man, she's looking good right now. She fought really composed, fought well. Look at that, 5 losses in a row.
Yeah, but look who they're at. Look who they're against.
Oh, absolutely. You take a look at all of the fighters that, you know, it was against.
And you could say the Jessica Penne one was a split. Oh, no, it was an armbar. Sorry. There was one that Jessica was involved in that was a very close split decision. That I can't remember who she fought.
That was her last fight when she came back.
Got it.
Felice?
Oh, no, different. But no, look who she fought. She fought Jessica Andrade, Michelle Watterson. I mean, she fought. Those losses
Alexa
are to
Grasso.
people that Alexa Grasso, who's the champ now. Like, she's fought the who's who. Jan, who's fighting next for the title. I mean, like, she lost to great fighters. So no shame in that. I used to have a hard time pulling the trigger on the third shot. It would always just be 1-2, 1-2, or, you know, right hand, left hook. But it's funny, I had a coach, not Javier, a different coach that was working with me on my boxing for a little bit. And he's like, even if you don't think you're going to land it in sparring, just
doesn't matter. Throw it.
Throw it.
Yep.
And he's like, once you realize you've got to get past that, and once I started to realize, just throw it, almost every time, I'd say 9 out of 10 times, that shot landed. And then that made me want to throw a 4. You know, and then you get into the 5th, which gets a little nasty because now your opponent wants to retaliate. So you got to be careful with that 5th. But
got to watch what's coming back.
That 1, 2, 3, that third one almost always lands, especially in MMA, because they think after you throw the 1, 2, because of the little gloves, is that they can open up to start to counter. And then you throw the third and it sneaks in around the gloves or through the gloves and it lands clean. You've got to commit to throwing the 3 and start working on committing to throwing the 4. It's a mental thing. You have to make yourself throw. You know, it's not just like, oh, I saw the opening and I missed it. No, you have to just go. Just go. So, good for her, though, back on the win streak. Doing her thing.
Yeah. Gilbert Urbina against Orion Kos. That, tell you what, Urbina, you know, his brothers all fought and everything. And, well, I'll tell you what, he's proving that he might be the best one out of the Urbina clan there. He looked really good. He was devastating with a lot of his shots, the knees, the body shots. You're talking about body shots. And that's what put Orion away, was the body shots. And so Gilbert Urbina looked fantastic, in my opinion.
I would agree with you. But, you know, I got to be honest, the fight that I was really excited to see was the Chase Hooper fight, only because I wanted to see what he was going to do at lightweight. I was like, wait, you're going up in weight. Yeah, and you're already not stronger than the 45-pounders. And so I'm like, oh, how is this going to translate? I don't know. It seemed like he had some good stuff. He's got cardio, but you know what he is? He's really young in his career. So there's no, it's hard for me to explain this. When I first started fighting, I fought a little bit like the way he kind of fights his stand-up when in my early career. Like, I would just walk forward and throw punches with really nothing behind them because I was so tired. Like, it was more like just touch, but I felt like I was landing big shots when in reality you go back and watch and you're like, yeah, those weren't big shots. those I never had power to begin with, so they weren't hard. But as you get to the upper levels, you realize you have to start sitting down on your shots, really picking and choosing your targets and when to open up and throw the 3 and the 4. He was just coming forward, and against guys like Nick, how do you say his name? Fiore. Once against guys like him, you can get away with that. But if Chase is going to start making his way up the rankings a little bit here, you get into that top 15, you're going to have to sit down on your punches, really get behind him. Right now, he's just winging them. Not a lot of power behind him, just hoping to touch you from distance. And he's going to have to remedy that here pretty soon. He's going to have to sit down, throw the hard shots. Even if you're going to
get the win.
Yeah, he did. No, he did. I know. And I sound like I'm bagging on him, man. I thought he did great. For lightweight, it sounds like I'm bagging on him. But no, I was really impressed going up in weight. And he's starting to fill out his body a little bit. He's still young, really young. But being able to utilize his style of boxing, which he does, I think he's going to have to start starting to follow the Nick Diaz and Nate Diaz style. Slap you from distance. As you get closer, sit down and throw hard. And then as you rock them or you don't rock them, slap a little bit more, touch, and now sit down and throw hard. So you're always thinking, okay, those weren't hard. I can open up. Now, boom, boom, he lands a big shot. So he's going to have to work on that. There's no doubt he's a scrambler on the ground. He's got pretty damn good jiu-jitsu. The physical strength is somewhat of a problem for him. He needs to work on that, building his strength and conditioning. But like I said, he's still young. He's got a lot of room to grow. The future's bright for him. I would have liked him to step away from the UFC for a little bit, maybe get a couple fights outside, or have a conversation with the UFC and say,
but he doesn't want that.
I need a little bit more. Can I get more fights like this? Where the opponents are not, I'm not handpicking them, but I want more time to build myself, and I think they would probably understand because he's definitely marketable.
Yeah, absolutely. 23 years of age. He's got a a long future ahead of him, but he can't be. You can't take beatings now while you're young.
Mm-mm. Anything else here on you want to talk about?
Nah, it's good.
Okay. Well, that's going to wrap up our UFC talk. And then now we're going to get into this Devin Haney versus Lomachenko. Before we do that, we're going to go to onlyfans.com/Wayne. And Dave, I sent you over something yesterday. And I said that we should have this conversation. There is a huge discrepancy in, apparently there's this thing going around saying there's a huge discrepancy in pay for women in like-minded jobs. And I'm pretty upset because I feel very much so the same, that men are just not paid the same on OnlyFans as women.
That you, Josh Thompson,
yes,
should be able to make as much as Paige Van Zandt on OnlyFans.
Absolutely.
You were a great MMA fighter. She's an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
You guys match up well as far as, that stuff. You're both just
knockout.
I
know. I'm sexy.
She's sexy as hell.
Okay.
Yeah. But, I mean, it should only be right that you as a man should be able to make as much money as her.
I feel like she should pay her fair share for me. I should get a percentage of that.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're wrong.
I want equal rights on OnlyFans. That's what I want.
Not equal rights. You want equity.
I want equity. Yeah, I'll take that too.
Equal outcome.
Equal outcome. That's Dave did a job today. Equal outcome. That's what I want. No.
He wants equal income.
Yeah. This is true. Oh man, if I had a fraction of what that girl's making on OnlyFans, jeez. Woo! She's crushing it. All right, well, hey, go to onlyfans.com/Wayne, and it's free. We take fan questions over there. John and I are leaving tomorrow to work with the USO and the military over at Fort Bragg, and we're going to be there hanging out, doing some combatives, kind of, doing some shooting, doing some other stuff with the military, and kind of hanging out with them and teaching some combatives. That'd be nice. And just get to hang out, man. We're going to have a good time. So there'll be some extra content we'll be sending over to Dave to get up on our OnlyFans. So that'll be only available on OnlyFans. So
I'm just hoping you feel a little better so you're not on a plane living in the bathroom.
Well, Dave, you got something like this, right? Because I had the pulled pork tacos, and I think that's what it was. You had some food poisoning, what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
No, it was probably like a month or so ago at this point. And we were supposed to film, remember? Yeah. And the only reason I did not cancel filming is because John was mad at me that day, and I was like, if I cancel filming, John's gonna think it's because he's mad at me.
John was mad at me, really?
Man.
Yeah, you were.
I'm telling you, man. John has like that dad yell through text. I don't know what it is, but you can tell when he's not happy about something just through text. I'm like, yeah, we should probably get this thing going. Because I know
sometimes I say John, I mean his household. But
oh no, when we're getting texts from Miss McCarthy, it's like being disciplined, man. Oh man, but I swear, when I woke up this morning and I text you guys, I'm like, I'm not filming it at 6 a.m. And I was waiting for a reply back.
And what was my response since I was up, ready to go? What was my response?
I didn't see it until later because I fell asleep. I literally I sent the text and just I didn't care what you guys said because I just knocked out.
Hold on, I'm looking.
And I woke back up. It was horrible, man.
It was horrible.
I mean, I'm still feeling it right now. Like I'm afraid to burp because I'm afraid I might throw up, and I'm definitely not letting a little toot out because you don't know what's going to come out. It could be a waterfall. Oh man, I was telling John,
let a toot out, dude.
John, was I telling you off air? I think John, I was like, when you've gone to the bathroom so much, it kind of hurts to wipe. You're like, you got to use a baby wipe because it's soft. Oh man!
All right. This is how mean I am. You say I can't hold anything down. Hey, okay. Hope you feel better.
Oh
boy, I'm a mean guy.
Yeah, that's one of those rare texts that I get from you. Oh man, I was waiting for Miss McCarthy to yell at me because I knew that there was a text coming in the afternoon, like what time you guys filming, and I was like, I hope she's not mad at me, man. Like I reply, I was like, I need a couple more hours. I want to try to get some sleep, and I was waiting for her to be like, well, hurry up. I was like, oh no, she's like, no, as long as you're feeling okay. I was like, whew. She was nice to me today. All right,
it's just one of us. You pissed off.
Let's get into Devin Haney versus Lomachenko.
Vasily Lomachenko.
John. Now look, the term robbery gets thrown around way too much. And we've said this. I've said this for I don't know how many. And the term GOAT. Those are the two most used terms ever when it comes to combat sports. Yeah, but I thought it was pretty clear cut that Loma won the fight. And the reason why I'm going to say that, and I'm not going to go round by round, but the reason I'm going to say that is I saw this breakdown earlier today too, and a couple people were posting it. Lomachenko outstruck Devin Haney by 564 strikes to 404 or 405 overall. Loma has also dominated the latter championship rounds.
Well, hold on. Stop. Let's go line by line here, because you're saying that Lomachenko threw 564. And what did Devin Haney?
405.
Okay, and you know that. Here's your problem with it. It doesn't matter how many you throw; it's how many you land.
We had this conversation. Yep.
Okay.
So he threw more dominant, but he also dominated the latter rounds, which is the championship rounds. So he outpunched Haney 124 to 110. Moretti, I think, was the judge who scored it for Haney, winning the 10th round. I think when you go back and look at the 10th round, I think it was a kind of a clear cut that I think Loma won that round. So that ultimately is what decided the fight. It's not a robbery. But again, a lot of people
here's the problem. Here's the problem. Dave Moretta's been a freaking boxing official judge forever, done all the big fights. And there's times, I've argued with him about how did you score that? And he'll go back and look and say, yeah, I screwed that up. He's actually a great guy as far as knowing the sport and being good with it. But he's got one angle. Mm-hmm. He's looking at the fight from, and he doesn't see everything that you see with all those cameras that you're watching from. So sometimes, he puts that score down because he only saw the clean shots of one fighter where he didn't see the clean shots of the other fighter. And that can be the difference.
Yeah. I thought the movement, I thought that Haney was going to be the faster, the longer, like he would utilize that a lot better. Loma did a great job because we had talked last week. I said, Loma slowed down a little bit, just enough to where I think Haney was I thought Haney was going to win this fight. And I didn't think he was going to make it look easy, but I thought it would be an easier fight for him. But he really had a hard time with Loma's movement, slipping underneath, landing the shots. It was one of those fights where he was touching him enough to frustrate Haney. Loma was just touch, boom. And they didn't have to be hard. He just had to get him off his game because Haney just couldn't get going. He couldn't get a rhythm to the fight that Loma was fighting. And that really had an effect on how Haney was fighting. I looked at this fight as I watched round by round. I was like, do you think this is a big reason, another reason why people are kind of starting to lose faith a little bit in boxing?
Let me answer a couple of your things. First, I thought the same thing. I thought Devin Haney would be faster and have more length because Lomachenko, if you ever are near him, he's a pretty small guy. Mm-hmm. I don't know what they say as far as his height. He's 5'5", if that. He's pretty small.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable as far as he pivots off of his front foot many times. He'll take a step and he'll do that side pivot and then he'll move his back foot again off it, and he really takes people 5'7". There's no fucking way he's 5'7". But he did give Haney a lot of problems. And I'm being honest, I kind of look at it this way. I wanted Lomachenko to win. I had Lomachenko winning 115-113. Mm-hmm. I was scoring the fight. But there's rounds that you can look at and you go, okay, I can see where someone can, go the other way and stuff. I thought Lomachenko did the things. I think the body attack of Devin Haney is what the judges really focused on a lot because he was going to the body well. He was landing clean, hard shots to the body. I thought Lomachenko was going to the head more, landed some clean, hard shots up there too. Look at Devin Haney proved he's a tough dude because he took more shots in that fight than he has in his last 10.
Of course,
with everybody else. So he took some hard shots, and he kept firing back and stuff. I thought in the end that Vasily won the fight. Close fight, but it's not a robbery.
No.
And it wouldn't have been a robbery, the other way around if it, had gone to Lomachenko, for a Haney fan. But it is part of the problem of, I'm just going to put those are two great fighters.
Mm-hmm.
They are great boxers. And I can take that fight and now compare it to the fight that happened at the Apex down the street with two ladies in Angela Hill and Mackenzie Dern. Which one was more exciting?
Well, I'm a little biased because I'm an MMA guy. So
yeah,
I don't.
Which one was more exciting?
It was exciting, but that fight was also a little bit more one-sided. So I'm going to actually lean probably more towards the Loma fight, where the fight was close. They had some good exchanges. He had Haney hurt a little bit, and Loma looked like he was throwing off his game in some exchanges as well from Haney. The Dern and Hill fight was one-sided, but just to see how gritty that Hill was, fighting out of positions, holding on to the bell went just so she could get back up and almost armbarred, almost, all of these things. That made that fight exciting. But when I look at which fight I would have probably watched more of, which was the Haney and Loma fight, because Loma, though, to me it's like watching Sweetness run. It just it's beautiful.
No doubt about it.
I'm looking at him going, damn, you're good. But my problem is, and I've always had this problem, not just with boxing, but also too with MMA. I know the promotions don't have anything to do with it, but you almost can write the narrative that we want the younger guys to win. And I don't know what it is, man. Like, it just seems like, that in this situation, this scenario, it should have been Loma's fight, and the younger fighter coming up got the nod. And I don't know, man. This is how conspiracy theories start, John. Just me yapping away about dumb shit like this. This is how it all starts.
It was a good fight. It was a good fight.
It was.
They were closely matched. They both had their moments. But I will say this. They're both going to change if they rematch this. I think you're going to see Lomachenko actually give Haney less respect. Punching power wise, I think Lomachenko realizes I can walk through a lot of his shots. And I think Haney is going to change up what he's going to do with Lomachenko. I always go with the younger guy in the rematch. Just usually, their ability to change things and be better at it, especially if he won the first one. But, I can see this fight happening again. But overall, I thought they both fought well. It was close.
Yeah, if I'm Haney, I take the win and run. I pull a Mayweather. Nope, I'm good. I got the W. I'm over it.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, if I'm Haney. But if I'm Loma, hey, yeah, sure, I'm interested in it, but I'm not going to let it hold up the rest of my career. The problem is that was his chance to get all the straps, and even his own manager came out. Loma's manager came out and said this is pretty much his last chance to be the undisputed champ again. So who knows? We'll see. I'm looking forward to seeing if other fighters give him a chance, because he's definitely fun to watch. And that's the problem. When you get an older fighter, these promotions don't want to pay that amount of money for someone you don't know if he's going to be a draw anymore, because he is getting older. He is slowing down. But he's fantastic to watch fight. It's amazing. The way he cuts angles, the way he doesn't load up, the way he just touches you off making those cuts. Slipping under, touch. As he's slipping, he's touching you. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. It's amazing to watch.
All right, let me ask you a question then, because I was watching a thing with Snoop Dogg with Mike Tyson, and he asked him a question: if you could bring back any fighter that you got to go watch him fight, who would it be? Boxing wise,
I could go back and watch fight.
You could go and actually watch him live fight. Who would it be?
Probably Costa Zoo when he was younger.
Costa Zoo, okay.
Probably him. He had that style that I really liked. Just the guy who kind of walked forward, touch, boom. Like he was You know, and then I know when he got older, he fought Riggy Hatton in Manchester, and it just kind of, and then he lost that. He never fought again after that fight.
Yep.
And I think he quit on the stool, I think at round 10 or something like that. He stopped the fight, and it was a close fight. He wasn't losing by, I don't know, it was close.
He was losing.
He was losing, but he wasn't losing like, the fight was still obtainable. And, but I always wondered why. There was never, I never read about what?
Body attack.
Yeah, but I know
the body.
Yeah, he was. But there was never like a full explanation afterwards. I think everyone kind of thought he may fight again. He never fought again. Last fight ever. Him, and then
and that was when he was a destroyer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, guys probably before my time, like way before my time. You know, Jersey Joe Walcott, like just certain fighters. I don't never seen footage of, but people talk about him like historically.
You've never seen Jersey Joe Walcott fight?
Nuh-uh.
Really?
Nuh-uh. Mm-mm.
I used to watch all the old fighters and everything. If there was anyone that I could, and I met this person one time, but Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yeah, I was gonna say him.
And I've watched so many of his fights. But you talk about the best boxer there's ever been. Mm-hmm. That's the guy.
Yeah, I would
hands down.
I would look
not
at
even
him.
Close.
And then I would probably want to see like Rocky Marciano. I'd never seen him fight.
Rocky Marciano was ugly to watch.
Yeah,
he did this crouching style, and he would, but he had power. But he was. You figure Rocky Marciano, heavyweight champion of the world. He was 185 pounds.
Yeah, that's some power though. And he had a lot of grit. A lot of grit.
Oh yeah.
That's in. If you're gonna be that, go ahead.
He was fighting a guy named Ezzard Charles, who was a fantastic fighter. Ezzard Charles was the heavyweight champion for a while. Ezzard Charles hit Rocky Marciano, and it split his nose straight down the middle here. Right? So it was doing this flap out, and the referee comes up and is going to stop the fight. And Rocky Marciano tells him, he says, "You stop this fight, I'm going to fucking knock you out. Get out of my way." He goes, I'll knock him out this round. And he did.
Oh,
but
man.
Yeah, split straight down, man. Rocky Marciano's a bad dude.
I just threw up in my mouth thinking about that. You said like when it flaps out, the nose would split and it flaps out.
It split right down the middle. Yep.
That's disgusting.
Nice.
Disgusting. I got hit with an uppercut one time, like just grazed me. I don't remember, but I think it was Mike Swick. It just grazed my nose. And it literally ripped my nose right here. It split like a perfect straight line right through the middle there. Oh, man. And it was during the winter, so I had to blow my nose quite a bit. Oh, it was so painful. And that thing took forever to heal. I couldn't, because I couldn't spar. I couldn't grapple. Every time it would rip again. I'm like, oh, it took probably about 3 weeks, maybe a little bit longer to heal up. I was so frustrated. I don't know. What about you? What other fighters what boxers would you like to see come back?
If I was, Sugar Ray Robinson would be number one. The other guy that I loved, I just loved the way he fought, was Alexis Arguello. Salvador Sanchez was another one that was, you talk about one of the most skilled boxers you could watch. There was a guy named Salvador Sanchez. He was so good. He died in a car crash. He was just unbelievable, but fun to watch as far as his skill set and stuff. But Alexis Arguello, I loved watching him, and then I would definitely bring back Sugar Ray Robinson. I met Sugar Ray Robinson when I was a boot on the police department. My partner
pulls
boot? Up in front of this.
Explain to me what a boot is.
It's a rookie. I mean, your first year on the job when you're first in the car. And he says he pulls up, and he's at this house, and there's this man sitting on the porch, old man. And he's just sitting there in a rocker. And he says, "Do you know who that is?" And I looked, and I went, "Oh my God, that's Sugar Ray Robinson." And it was just before he died. And I actually went up, and his wife came out. He had no idea about anything. He was he had pugilistic dementia or Alzheimer's, whatever you want to say. And but his wife was really nice, and I just told her, I said, I've watched a ton of his fights, and it's just, and he used to have this thing called the Sugar Ray Robinson Watts Summer Games, and this project thing, and I used to play in it all the time. And that dude was unbelievable. I want to say he was 70 72 wins before his first loss or something like that.
Jeez.
And then
Insane.
he went on a freaking another streak.
Yeah.
From that.
So, it's insane to think how much history there is in boxing. And, but then just like they went from all the best guys had to fight the best guys to now it's like picking and choosing your opponents. It's horrible. But I'm glad you've had guys like this, with Haney and Loma, and then you had Garcia and Tank. Like, there's a couple fighters that are willing to take a chance. With Garcia and Tank, it was one of their O's is going to go. There's a lot at stake when you're fighting something like that. So tip my hat to those ones that are willing to step up and take the chances. But, I had Loma winning the fight, but like I said, it's not a robbery. All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap up our talk for this weekend's fights. Go to onlyfans.com/weighing in and go to weighingInmerch.com.
Before you do that, Katie Taylor lost her first professional boxing match going up against Chantel Cameron. Majority decision, but most people looking at it said, yeah, Katie Taylor definitely lost that fight. I wasn't able to see it. I saw some replay, but wasn't able to see the whole thing. But
yeah,
she'll be back. But I'd love to see her go back against Amanda Serrano. I thought they had a great fight and stuff. So
I thought she lost that fight. I thought Amanda Serrano won that.
I thought Amanda Serrano beat her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, that's going to wrap up our talk for this show. Go to onlyfans.com/weighing in. Go to weighingInmerch.com. Pick up some of our new shirts. John's wearing one right there. And I want to thank you guys for continuing to support us. And John, take us away, buddy.
For everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed both the MMA and the boxing. We will see you